Hi, this is Dr. D. Yvonne Young. There's an intersection where two things come together that are meant to work for you. One of them is called prayer. Pretty sure you're familiar with that. Some of you confuse that with treating God as if he's Santa Claus and asking him for all the stuff you want without thinking anything needs to be done other than you pay some tithes or you pray and ask for stuff and then sit back and get pissed off when you don't get it. At the other side of this intersection, or should I say at the corner, there's this other thing called the law of attraction. And people wonder, okay, Doc, how does the law of attraction and how does prayer come together in the same spot? Well, real simple. I'm going to take a few minutes and tell you that. About 20 minutes or so. So hopefully by the time you get through listening to this, you'll be able to use both effectively. Now, first step, anytime you pray, what does that really mean? You know, often we associate prayer with what we learned as a child. You get on your knees, fold your hands like this, and you say, nah, lay me down to sleep, or God bless me with some money, or some of y'all are praying for some real weird stuff, like you hope somebody's husband or wife dies so you can have them, or you're praying that, you know, when you go gambling a night that you hit. Well, there's a reason why those prayers don't get answered, and that's because God ain't gonna bless no mess. The second part of this thing is there's an evolution to prayer. There's the time when you learn that the strongest form of prayer really is not you talking to God, it's you listening to God. Now hear me again. The strongest form of prayer is not you talking to God. It's you listening to God. It's you having the awareness or the mindset that, you know what, God, show me. Speak to me. Reveal to me. What is your plan for these circumstances that I'm in? What's your plan for this day? What is your plan for my life? Often we get so busy asking for so much when the real truth, the answer to prayer isn't in this big picture. It's actually in the details. Now, just remember that the answer to prayer is in the details, but I'm going to take you a step further. There is a methodology. There are some laws. There are divine laws, you know, like the law of karma, the law of sowing and reaping, but there's one other. Well, not one other, many more, but another that we're going to discuss today is the law of attraction. You've probably heard about it. You've seen the book, The Secret, in bookstores. You probably watched the little video. The genie comes out, and it postulates something that I think is, you know how you can have facts, but the facts aren't the greater truth? Well, that's damn sure what The Secret did. It gave you facts, but it didn't give you the greater truth. It says to a lot of people that if you energize something towards something, wherever you direct your energy, you'll get a result. True. For every law of nature, there's something that if you put an effort out, you get some resistance and then something happens on the other end. True. But let's go deeper than that. The law of attraction has much more to do with visualization. And I don't mean just you sit back and imagine something. I'm talking about you really not so much looking with your eyes, but having a vision for your life. You know, it says, see the vision, write it down, make it plain. You've seen and heard that in the Bible countless times, right? And if there was one miracle that was done over and over and over again in the Bible, it was the restoration of sight. Remember that. We're going to come back to that too. So what happens if you chill out, stop begging God for stuff like he's Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, and you stop praying for stupid stuff? What if you take a moment to really get clear, get some clarity, to define, to articulate, to write down? Now all of a sudden, you're moving away from a place where prayer is mythological, it's mythical, it's imaginary, and you start moving more toward the place where manifestation of prayer, manifestation of the law of attraction comes in a connection with one another. Now, you say, Doc, what, huh? Back that up. Well, let me back it up for you. Another way to look at this is messaging. What message are you sending yourself? What is it? What are you putting out there? You know, we often message things to ourselves that are not exactly what we want. As a matter of fact, they're exactly what we don't want. Like you'll say something foolish like, you know what, if it wasn't for bad luck, I would not have any luck at all. Shit, I don't never have no good luck. I don't win nothing. Or, yeah, well, all men ain't no good. Well, if you notice something, you are getting a lot of that fruit because the more that you direct your energy into something, i.e., message it, all of a sudden you get more of it. Now, I want you to pay attention to another word because a lot of you right now, as you're watching this video, what you're waiting on me to give you is a key for you to get some more money, right? Well, think about another word for money. What is it? Currency. Wow. Current, as in flow, as in a current in a river. In other words, what are you allowing to flow through you? What's flowing through your thoughts? If we were able to see what you were streaming out, what you had your mind on, and some people can say imagination because some truth in the part of the secret, and I'm not going to say some facts in the secret, where they say if you visualize something, if you meditate on it, and you direct your energy toward it, well, here's what that does. It does make it more apparent. It makes it more apparent in your space, but that doesn't bring it into fruition. It doesn't bring it into where it becomes tangible. So what I want to talk to you about now is establishing a vibration, and this is where the law of attraction and prayer intersect. When we go to church, you will see in most churches, at least I know in the Christian church and maybe a few others, before worship starts, there is a praise service. There is this time where the musicians sing songs, and if you really have good musicians, it starts taking your mind off of what you came in there with. The praise is the point of breakthrough, right? That's why they call it singing a hymn. It comes from the word hymen, which means hymen. And like on a virgin, I know a lot of you don't know what that is, and you probably haven't been one yourself for years. But anyway, just keep listening. On a virgin, there's this thing called a hymen, and when it's broken, it's a place of breakthrough, right? And it should be broken when the marriage is commensurated, and they would hold up a sheet showing the blood stain and saying, okay, now we got this covenant thing. So the point of breakthrough comes from this music, from this singing. For some religions, it's not music and singing. It's beating the drum. It's chanting. Well, this is very critical because at this intersection, the law of attraction and prayer now start getting into alignment with one another. And if you can imagine a railroad track, one is prayer, the other one is the law of attraction. But in order for them to have that train go properly, there has to be alignment. And see, this is where that vision comes back again, what you envision. The more specific you get, again, bringing those things that are called that are not as though they are. Now listen to all of these phrases I'm giving you because they're all scriptural. In other words, God's word backs this up. So when you start calling things that are not as though they are, why do you call anything? If I pick up a phone and call you, what am I doing? I'm getting your attention so that you and I can get together and interact about whatever it is that is the subject matter that I contacted you about. Now, think about that. When you call on God through prayer. When you use the law of attraction, you call on the things that you want to attract in your life through visualization and through energy flow directed toward it. Now, I don't mean you sit back and go and send out energy. No, put that joint down. That's not what this is. What I mean by that is faith without what is dead works. Energy, remember? The energy is the ability to perform work. Now, when you get the vision, when you have a current and a flow toward that vision, then all of a sudden you put works with that faith. Now all of a sudden you start getting the evidence of that which is not seen. Now, that's why it's called envisioning. And see, as you envision these things and you put faith and you put the works together and you see the vision and you write it down and you call these things that are not as though they are, and you allow your energy to flow toward what it is that you're working on, all of a sudden you have created what is now referred to as a vibration. Now, what does a vibration do? Well, just think about it. I can actually shake something, and you've seen this thing where the opera singer hits the really high note. There's a glass sitting over there. She didn't touch it. She didn't go knock it over. She didn't take a baseball and hit it. All of a sudden, the glass just pops. And that's because the vibration from her voice was so strong that the glass resonated with it and became disturbed to the point it just was so filled with what it was resonating with that it burst forth. It vibrated. It opened up. And this is what you're doing when you use prayer and the law of attraction. You first must visualize. Now, what does that mean? That means that when you pray, sit down and shut up. I know that's difficult because if you're like 90% of this people on this planet, your idea of a prayer is you talking to God. Let me give you the hint. Your plan, you're trying to get blessed. God's plan for your life is already blessed. Listen to what I just said to you. Your plan, you're trying to get blessed. God's plan is already blessed, right? What if you shut up long enough and just have one intent when you pray, and that's to hear God's plan for your life? You don't have to say it over and over like, God, come on, man, holler at me. Tell me your plan for my life. You don't have to do that. If you would just be still. That's why in the word it says, peace, be still and know that I'm God. Be still. So be still and seek. Seek, okay, God, what is your plan for my life? What's going to amaze you is if you can sit there and be quiet and let God speak to you. He's going to start giving you answers to questions you didn't even know to ask. I am proof of this. Everything I have done, from every book I have written to having a successful career, to even how I'm communicating with you now in a technology that hasn't even been released yet. You're actually seeing something that this time next year, this is going to be all over the place. But I was very fortunate to be one of the first people to get signed and onboarded with this technology. So I'm conditioning my vision, just as I'm hoping you will condition your vision, to a place where first I had to see the vision. I had to make sure that my messaging was proper. What message am I sending out? What is it that I want you to connect to when I contact you? What am I having flow to you? And then after that, when that gets strong enough, well, take you a step deeper. My vision in doing this message to you right now is I want you to perfect two different things. One, I want you to perfect prayer. Real simple. Being quiet, being still. And I'm going to throw you another freebie. The highest form of prayer is called meditation. Isn't that something? Think about that. The highest form of prayer. And if you really buy into what I'm hoping that you can comprehend, think about monks. Think about Jesuit priests. Think about shaman. What do you see them doing? Even Jesus, what did he do? He would get alone and away from everybody and go to a quiet place and communicate with God. And you didn't hear him over there hollering and screaming and killing chickens and all that. He was just quiet. And he would go off to himself where nobody and nothing could interfere with God speaking to him. And I promise you, you don't need your pastor or pastor or whatever you want to call that guy or woman. You don't need anybody to do this. You can do this because every human being is equipped with this thing called a spirit. In other words, there is a part of you that never disconnected, never severed itself. Even though they clipped your umbilical cord and it severed you from your mother, you were never severed from having a connection to God, to your creator. I don't care what religion you practice, long as it ain't something weird that involves, killing folks or nothing and eating people. But if you have something where at the core of your belief system is love and truth and light and honesty and all that is good, God is definitely part of that, right? So here's the thing. As you do this thing and you get to where the vibration is so fluid and is resonating with you, all of a sudden the things that you're directing that toward will do just like that glass when that opera singer hits that note, which I will not imitate because y'all ain't going to be laughing at me. But the truth of it is it will get so full and it will fill up everything around you. But it's first going to fill up in your spirit. You're going to have this this unsatiable appetite, this sensational ability to where you just get excited and motivated when you think about what it is that you're created to do. Another thing that's going to happen with you is it's going to infect people. People will get around you and they will just start feeling like, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds good. And that's this part about see the vision, write it down, make it plain. I want to throw this your way. God is never going to give you all of it at once. He's going to give you step by step. You know, you could look at the ark and he said, well, we're going to make it this many cubits by this many cubits. And we're going to have 4 rings like this. And we're going to pierce it with 2 staves. And we're going to have 2 cherubims on the end facing each other. I mean, God is very, very specific about the things he gives you. That's why he doesn't just give you and you get it all at once. You get it step by step, piece by piece. And see, that's how the law of attraction works. Attract. It moves you toward what you're wanting. It brings into fruition what you're seeking. In other words, as you learn to be quiet, be still, hear God's voice. As you see the vision, as you write it down, as you make it plain, as you visualize and find and just kind of start piecing together the puzzle that God is revealing to you. And then all of a sudden you're going to see the message. And your message must align with that. This is where it says faith without works. In other words, if I tell you, you know what, I really choose to be a good behavioral scientist. I want to definitely be the type of life coach and behavioral doc that I can bring transformation to your life. Well, if you come in my office or you ride in my vehicle, you're going to start seeing, damn, this dude reads a lot of books and all of it about neurology and psychology and behavioral modification. So see, the messaging that you see me living and that you see me putting forth in my own life, it resembles and matches this vision I have for wanting to be the very best life coach, the best behavioral scientist, the best master coach, the best health and wellness coach. And as you see this thing, all of a sudden now what was a visualization becomes a realization. In other words, it starts materializing. Now, the part that a lot of people don't understand is that it's not going to happen in your time. It's going to happen in God's time. It's going to happen in divine time, which means 2 things for you. You have to be consistent. You cannot sit back and do this one day. And then, I said, well, man, you said you had this vision, you meditated, and you were going to, be this hairdresser, or you were going to, you're going to have your own fleet of trucks, or you just wanted to bake, or you were going to be this fitness trainer, whatever it is your vision may end up evolving to. And then I see you a week later and you talking about, no, man, I'm going to roll me some sweets and I'm going to sell them for $5. No, okay, that's another conversation. Or you decide that, no, girl, pole dancing, I'm getting on the stage. No, you can't make it drizzle and get blessed. In other words, you have to be consistent. You have to seek your vision. And what God has given you to do, you got to seek it daily. You got to be diligent about it. You got to get a good understanding about it, because it's one construct on top of another construct on top of another construct on top of another. And that, my dear, is called evolution. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I know time is getting short, so I'm going to go over maybe a couple of minutes. So I'm sorry I'm not getting you out in 20 minutes, maybe 22, 23 minutes, maybe even 25. But bottom line is this. I want you to just get this first concept down. So this first concept is shut up and listen to God. Stop talking so much. Second, visualize it. Just sit back and conceive what it is that you want, and think about what does it take to sustain it. If you're gonna, it says only a fool builds a house and not on a solid foundation. You know what I'm saying? Stop and think, okay, if I do this, what does it take? Who has to be involved? How long will it take? What are the things I need to consider? And then write this stuff down, make it plain, get to a point where you are sending messages to God, to your creator, to the universe, even to those who are your support system. Let your messaging be consistent. You can't be all over the place. Then that vibration is going to just come on its own. It will be organic. You won't have to do anything to make that happen. It just happens. And at that point, you're going to start seeing a realization for what it is that you desire and what it is that you hope for. Remember faith, right? Substance of things hoped for, right? Evidence of that which is not seen. Call those things that are not as though they are. And that's the first step. And getting prayer right and getting the law of attraction right. Now, I'm going to do a series on this. So if you missed some of this, don't even sweat it. I have a new podcast that's going to be out starting in maybe about 2 or 3 weeks. And you're going to definitely know about that. But before I get out of here, let's say this prayer. Father in heaven, give me wisdom. Give me clarity. Help me to see what I don't see. Help me to know what I don't know. If anything, Father, I'm seeking wisdom. I'm seeking understanding. Your word says, in all you're getting, get a good understanding. Your word says people perish for a lack of knowledge. Help me to get the knowledge. And it says, when you give a wise man wisdom, that he becomes yet wiser. Father, as you reveal these things to me, as you give me more wisdom, help me to become wiser. Help me to be a good steward over that which I've been given. Because you said, how can I make you steward over many things if I can't even trust you to be faithful over a few? So, Father, help me to be faithful over the few things that you've given me so that they can be shaken, pressed down, amplified, and running over in my life. For you said you would supply all of my needs according to your purpose for my life, through your goodness, through your power, through your glory. And I'm asking for that. For you said, Father, you gave me the vision. You will supply the provision. And I believe that. You said that not one jot and tittle of your word will return void. It would come back perfecting that which you sent it forth to do. So, Father, help me to incline myself where I hear your word and I hear it in between my ears and in between my eyes, behind my forehead. In other words, Father, let me hear it through the visions that you have for my life so that my vision can be in alignment with your vision as I call these things that are not as though they are. And Father, I thank you for this increase in understanding and this increase in knowledge and this increase in awareness. For I realize wisdom is the source of all good things. And thank you, Father, for making me wise. Now, what is loosed on earth, I loose in heaven, and what's been bound in heaven, I bind on earth. And I thank you in Jesus' name. All right, I got to get out of here, but here's what I need you to do. See the vision. Shut up and let God do the talking. Consider the messaging that you send back, not the message that you emit, but how do you flow back what God is sending into you in terms of a vision for your life. And write it down, make it plain. It's okay. Have an eraser, because some of that's going to be your mess. Scratch it out. When you start thinking, you know what, I think I need to go get another box of wine so I can think better. No, the hell you don't. But make sure that you are permeable, because, see, God is evolutional. So he may give you a vision that starts here, then he'll move it over here, and he'll move it over there, then it goes up here. It's never going to be linear. It's not going to be in a straight line. As a matter of fact, his thoughts are not your thoughts, and his ways are not your ways, like the heavens above the earth. Your thoughts to God's thoughts, and his ways to your ways. So in other words, God ain't going to bless no mess. But if you follow his plan, it's already blessed. Anyway, this is Dr. Devon Young, the Reality Check Doctor, and make sure you listen to this a couple of times, and the more you hear it, each time something is going to be revealed to you that you didn't hear the first time, okay? Anyway, I love you madly. Most sincerely, I do. You have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye now.